Ladies and gentlemen, we are introducing two new players to Vampire the Masquerade. Tonight, we'll be following two kindred, a Toreador and a Gangrel, amongst their opening nights. Now, unlike a average setting, this is going to be set in a small town. Small town, referred to as Rejection. Old Western style, you can end up saying. Many people move out here just to get away from it all. Some people move to get away from notoriety. Others, this is the place they've called home for quite some time. So let's begin first and foremost with the characters. Would you two care to introduce who you will be playing this evening?
You want to go first, Fox? Or
You can go.
all right, so just kind of like what? Just run down the name and everything, or
Just tell us about them. What's their name? What's their background? What have they gone through? Give us a little bit of a snippet. Who is it that you are portraying tonight?
so I'll be playing John Fredrickson. He's a war veteran. I haven't decided if it's Iraq war or something, but he's a veteran. He had a bad run-in while in the field and came home with a Purple Heart. Was able to retire and bought himself a little shack out in the woods to kind of just get away from it and try and start anew after going through hell and back.
Oh, well, I'd imagine it was quite the hell to end up going through. And, well, John was brought in by a gangrel. This gangrel is this small figure, very unassuming, very long hair, and much fit to his name, Digger. He's always carrying around a shovel of some sort. Everybody knows him as kind of the grave digger, of course. Nothing overly done. He just likes his privacy and keeps away from people. He ends up maintaining a plot of land not far out from the town, trying to end up keeping things respectful and all. But John Fredrickson knows his nature a little bit better, preferring to stay out in the wild, in the woods. He says there aren't many like him, these kindred, as they call themselves. And yet, apparently something's stirring this evening. Now, Fox, would you be kind enough to introduce us to your Toreador?
Yes, my Toreador is Astrea Peck. She is an up-and-coming musician, a pianist whose dream it is to make the world weep with her pianism, I suppose I should say. That's entirely her goal. She's utterly focused on that goal, and she will do anything to attain it, whether her audience be kindred or mortal alike. She will bring tears to all eyes.
Truly a character embraced in its sadness, almost overwhelmingly so. Yes, because we end up knowing, well, your sire, Sebastian, is a relative newcomer in town. He's seems to be hiding out, to your knowledge. Sebastian tries not to engage with the mortals, too frequently, trying to end up staying to himself. He apparently has acquired a bit of a wanderlust, but of course, when offered the chance to come with him and see the world as it evolves, as it changes, well, how can you give that up until you've found his true nature? Bit of a sadist in that regard. It's not a pleasant embrace. And this night, you both end up finding yourselves brought out, in fact. Digger. He's sitting out aside on the porch overlooking the field of headstones. And of course, John, you're standing by his side. He's telling you to keep prim and proper as he's expecting guests. Astrea, you've been trying to remain patient as Sebastian, this very fine-looking gentleman, strong jaw, very neat, kept hair, is driving you both out into far reaches to cemetery. Ooh, how avant-garde. As you're pulling up, you end up seeing this figure. Now, both being from a similar community, you would know each other. John, you would most certainly end up knowing Astrea, but you would end up only hearing whispers on some of her releases. Apparently quite talented, but she never ended up performing under her actual name. But the hometown secret, right, knows that she ends up playing under a different name. Never Moor. Now, Astrea, on the other hand, you see John. It's not that you two probably have ever intermingled too much, maybe a passing in a bar or nightclub, but probably not too familiar with one another. It's when you two end up coming up and you see each other as Astrea exits the car with her sire, Sebastian, starting to walk up to Digger. Digger stands and shifts the tone. Oh, Sebastian, you old dog. You doing out in the wrong neck of the woods this time? Yes, well, I ended up seeing... how shall I put this? A new nuisance, and I would hate to intrude upon your domain any further than I already have. As I said, I'll be on my way soon enough, but in the meantime, as a personal favor, I ended up thinking that it probably would be best to inform you that I think we have someone else lurking. Someone who's come uninvited. This ain't that headache about the news and all that shit, is it? And indeed it is. Both of you would know. Recently there was a murder. The police have been keeping relatively shut and everybody's being hushed. But just by the way these two are enacting, you can only imagine it might have something to do with kindred. Just what they're whispering about, who knows? They continue their conversation as though to leave you two to your own devices without even paying so much as a mind. After all, you're not but children in their eyes. And so, when Digger ends up opening the door to let Sebastian in, he ends up looking to John. Kind of gestures to the fledgling who has shown up with Sebastian.
Yep, give me 1 second. I gotta go take care of something. Sorry.
Astrea.
Yes. Yes.
You know or have heard that such a murder is not hit, nor has hit really close to home. A small community such as Rejection knows itself to be, well, tight knit. For you, it's the loss of a cousin. Not somebody too close, but definitely family.
A cousin?
Yes. Do you remember who that cousin was?
I have a few. You'll have to be specific.
Mm. I'm giving you the opportunity. Who was it?
Was it my cousin Ryan?
Ryan. Yeah. What do you remember about Ryan?
He helped me. He taught me how to play piano when I was little. He set me on my path. He's dead.
Unfortunately so, though the family was told not to talk to the press, but how can they end up leaving you outside of this? There's not much to go upon, save for your aunt who...
What? What about my aunt?
Your aunt was leaving, well, sobbing tears when she was trying to end up contacting the rest of the family, including yourself. She was concerned on how she couldn't get a hold of you all day, but she needed to end up telling you. It's not good. That's the impression you ended up getting. Mary, your aunt, was probably still in the middle of throes of despair in that bit. Maybe even inspiration for your music if it didn't come at such a cost.
Who killed him?
That's the question, isn't it?
What are we going to do about it?
I don't know. That's entirely on Astrea and her choices. Though Sebastian seems to be looking into it as well as Digger. Though the stalwart man you see before you, John, ever the soldier, standing outside with you as they end up discussing the matters inside, leaving you outside in the cold, in the night, field of stone carvings of angels and beautiful poems written over top of the markers of bodies.
Well, let's say I read some of these poems in honor of the dead.
You might end up doing so. You end up walking about. The wind's cold tonight. It's desert air. It still chills. You can end up seeing the work of Digger. He's taken great care of this place. And it's very respectful, despite the fact that many of them are definitely budget families who couldn't afford much, still given a decent burial, even if it is a wooden cross with little more than a name. You end up looking aside, and As you end up there, looking towards the newest rows being built, you can already see it. It's not deep, but it's a hole that just started to be dug. Maybe for Ryan. John, are you back?
Yeah.
John, you end up seeing this young woman who ended up coming in with Sebastian. She has a look of grief on her face when she's going about the headstones, this field that Digger tends to.
Looking at the field?
The headstones. They're rows.
But you're out, but it's out in the field.
Well, yes. That would be where headstones are.
Well, when I walked out, you said they were on the porch, so I'm wondering if they walked outside, if they're still.
Yeah, you're both still outside. The other two, Digger and Sebastian, have entered inside, as though to end up having a conversation in private, leaving the kids outside to play, so to speak.
Okay, and then there's just speculation on what's on the headstones, or it's not like.
Each one is written with, some of them are very old, some of them are fairly new. Each one is either an engraving in stone to those who could afford it, or a cheaper wooden cross painted in white and having the name embroidered inside. Some of them are written with final farewells to the family, others not so elaborate.
And I stand before a hole just being dug.
Yeah, you remember Digger was actually doing this one earlier today. Had something to do with the murder in the newspaper they were earlier discussing.
Okay.
As they ended up entering.
So John walks up like a good solid 5 feet away from Astrea?
Astrea.
Astrea. Kind of looks up at her, looks down at the hole, knows that it got dug earlier today, and looks back up at Astrea. And did you know the person?
Maybe. It depends. Depends on who's this for. Whether a lost soul that I knew or another one wandering about. I do not know. All I know is that I've lost. I've lost a lot. Do you know who this hole is for?
I don't. Digger doesn't reveal names to me. I just help every once in a while.
I see. Well, thanks anyway.
It's not too long before both of them, Digger and Sebastian, exit out. Both of them with a very serious look on their face. They call you to end up approaching. Digger first ends up looking at John, and Sebastian yields the floor, as it were. Oh boy, I'm gonna have to. Well, gonna need you to end up doing a run to town for me. That ain't gonna be pretty.
What do you mean?
Alright. Yeah, Sebastian figures it's best I can end up describing it is that I got an uninvited guest. Somebody's poaching. And somebody's being very, very fucking sloppy about it.
Like, do we know any of the signs? If we can like determine a clan or
Well, unfortunately, I got things I need to end up getting to in order to end up keeping things informed, but Sebastian here tells me that his young upstart here, lovely lady that she is, might be able to end up helping out. As I understand it, the deer might have a little bit more cause. However, if we can end up pulling this out, I'm sure that she'd be more than inclined to end up offering favor to you in exchange. It's always good to have friends, John. Especially when you're in this kind of a mess. Wouldn't you agree?
I mean, yeah, but I don't know her that well.
That's good because you two are going to get to know each other very, very well. Now, I've thought this could be barking up the wrong tree, but what I think it might be is that we have a neonate running around who doesn't know what the fuck he is, doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, and is leaving a mess that we're going to have to end up cleaning up. So, how would the military put it? This is my domain. I want this thing destroyed. If it helps with your conscience, just end up saying, do it before it kills anybody else. I don't need people starting to get uppity. Second, I want to end up finding out where it came from, if that's at all possible. And third, probably the most important thing going, I need you to end up making sure that any evidence that might end up leading people to a supernatural conclusion. He waves his hands all glistening like this is kind of a joke to him. I need all evidence removed in that regard. I'll help you out however you can. I can, but as of right now, I need you to end up soldiering up and do exactly what you're born to do, son. What you died to do.
All right.
Is that a little too much for you to handle?
No, sir. No.
Glad to end up hearing that. I didn't want to end up thinking I made a bad choice. Made a regretful decision. Try and avoid those. Sebastian steps forward. Well, Mr. Fredrickson, I'm going to have to end up asking you to end up looking after my dearest Astrea. I'm trusting your watchful eye that no harm will end up coming to her. She is ever dear to me.
Not a scratch, sir.
I need no bodyguards, Sebastian.
Child, it's not a matter of bodyguard, it's a matter of practicality. You know a little bit more information about this than he might, and right now, I don't have time to end up having you embarrassing me in front of the dear digger.
I understand.
I appreciate it. Now, Of course, you two will be compensated for your time. We have other matters we need to end up attending to. This is going to get a lot larger if we do not keep a lid on it, and I'd like for this to stay in the county.
Understood, sir.
Now, any questions before you're off?
Where was this thing last, or the last place at?
Well, body was found right behind what you might end up calling a pawn shop. What was it, Pawn King? Something like that. I don't know. Isn't that a show on the telly or something? Anyway, body's found behind there. Might be a good place to start. Police may end up having some witnesses to the finding of the body. Would be good to know what they know. And what else would there probably be? Oh, yeah, we have a body in a morgue that has no fucking blood in it, which might end up raising a bit of suspicion once the mortician gets a coffin. Now, I've managed to delay that for one night. You think you can handle that?
You think so?
All right, good. He holds up.
Is this neonate the one who killed my cousin?
I think so. It's a fledgling, definitely. Either that or somebody who does not give two rats' ass about the masquerade, in which case it turns into something a lot more dangerous. Either way, we need to find out.
I understand.
He walks up to you, Sebastian. He puts a hand under your chin and raises your head so your eyes meet his. If it affects you so much, then the best thing you can do is make sure this is done right. You understand, darling?
I do. I'm sorry.
All right. I trust you to be professional about this. You are working with the soldier here. May not understand the art of things, but he does understand how to do his job, and he is the child of my dear Digger. Now I'd like that relationship to stay amicable, and I'm trusting you in this. It's a lot of faith putting someone so young.
I understand, Sebastian. Thank you.
Excellent, my dear. Now, he takes your hand and places his keys in it. You two run on. I'll leave you at whatever discretion you have. You end up talking to Cole on occasion, as I understand it. Of course, Astrea, you remember Cole. Barrett Cole is he takes his name out of irony, an old coal miner when that's what this town was known for. Embraced and decided to put up roots here. He's kind of, you would know him more for his antics in trying to end up keeping politics involved. You know him fairly well. Oftentimes his tutelage would supplement that of your sire's. You also know the term venture, though neither one of you would probably know what that meant given your limited understanding of other kindred. You do know that there is a certain weight of respect when he says the name Barrett Cole.
What about Barrett Cole?
Look, darling, between Dear Digger and myself, we keep our fingers on the pulse, but Cold like is what I'd like to call a deep roller. He likes to end up getting very close to the ground and likes to chumming up with very important people. He might end up hearing things. It might cost you a favor, but he might end up being able to do something. And quite frankly, a small favor from you is still a lot cheaper than a small favor from me or Digger. And I'm pretty sure he's sweet on you.
I understand, sir.
He always did like him young. All right, my dear. Best get off now. Night is growing near or dying out quick, and we're gonna need you to end up here getting this wrapped up quick before, well, the autopsy tomorrow. Could only delay it so long.
All right, sir. If that's all.
That is. And Soldier Boy, you have any questions on this op? He uses air quotes very sarcastically.
No, we're good.
Good. A man of few words. Makes it easier to deal with. Well, off with you then. Digger, I'm going to get on the call. I'm going to get on the horn with Dufresne, and we're going to end up seeing what kind of mess this might end up coming down the channel. Hopefully this shit don't roll downhill too far.
I look over to John. Can you drive?
Yeah, did they not teach you, or
I can drive. You just won't like it.
give me the keys? I'll do this.
All right. Let's do this.
So,
John, where are you planning on driving off to?
John gets in the car to his new acquaintance. Do you want to take it up with
Well,
your
first
friend
things
recommended?
first. First things first, we got to get rid of supernatural evidence. That body is not going to hang around forever.
All right. So the morgue.
To the morgue.
The car speeds off, and after going down some old trails, going back into town, doesn't take long. It's a small hospital, probably only 3 stories, different wards, a whole bunch of sickly individuals as you end up pulling up the lot, drive closer to the parking lot.
So how are we going to do this, John?
Well, are you able to lie through your teeth?
Not very well. But I can distract people.
All right. It'll probably be easier. If you can distract them, I can try sneaking into the morgue.
All right. It might also be that I could try to convince them to let us in to see the body. But then we'd be escorted.
You could always ask for a few minutes.
Maybe so. But what are they going to do when the body's gone and we walk out of there?
So we might have to replace one of them.
Let me ask you this. You're a gangrel, yeah?
Yeah.
What sort of disciplines do you have? What can you do?
I can see in the dark, talk to a couple animals, and sometimes fire doesn't hurt. There's not much in the way of appear out of thin air or hiding them.
Right. Well, let's see. What can I do? We need a way.
Well, how convincing are you?
I can be pretty convincing, and I can draw a crowd, but
Can't we just convince one person to take the seat for the night? I don't know. Offer them
well,
something.
if the body is who I think it is, I am family. So maybe getting in to see it wouldn't be so difficult after all. The issue is getting the body out.
Well, all we need is a big distraction. One of us can sneak the body out.
I'm fast.
And I'm strong. So probably the distraction would, you're probably the easiest one to make a distraction.
All
Keep the
right.
attention on you.
All right. So after we get in there, I cause a distraction.
Well, get in there. We convince one of them to let us in,
All right.
see the body,
Yeah.
and then from there you'll have to make a distraction. So that way I can. Oh,
Gotcha. Sounds like a plan.
all right.
How are we going to
Let's do it.
dispose of it? Just going to throw it in the trunk?
Unless he gave you special instructions on how to destroy it.
Well, maybe we can talk to Barrett after that.
All right.
But first objective is getting the body out. So let's do this. Astrea.
So John opens up.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, John opened the door, stepped out of the car, following Australia.
Let's go inside.
When you end up coming inside, the waiting room is, well, it's not overtly empty, but there are definitely some people on the waiting list. There's a few nurses who are pulling the graveyard. They're talking to various patients, getting their information, their insurance. And there is a woman who is engaged in conversation with what looks to be a security officer. The woman herself she almost looks malnourished, and she has long blonde hair, though it is thinning, and probably an indicative of her age. The large man, security definitely, is just leaning on the counter. He seems to be trying to flirt with her, though she is trying to kind of deny his advances, but trying to be polite about it. Oh, it's okay there, sweetheart. I've been around this block 100 times. It's all good. After all, security's in my blood. You got to end up understanding that. I end up coming from a whole line of Magnum PIs. I understand that, Kronk, but it's just not. I just don't want to right now. I've got work to end up doing. It's been a long night. It's still that. I can't believe I just saw that. Oh, don't dare worry, sweetheart. These kind of things happen, Might be just an animal attack or so. That wasn't an animal. That was something else. And this conversation continues as you just enter into the waiting room.
All right.
All right.
I'd put on the fake tears now, and that's to see the body.
Fake tears. Hold up.
I'm going to warn you right now. This isn't knowledge you would have. Any bodily fluid you end up secreting is going to come out as blood. You start crying, you're going to actually start crying blood.
I forgot about that. I meant it in the metaphorical sense, not.
All right.
All right.
Come on, Johnny boy. I approach the security guard and the nurse. It is the nurse, right?
Yeah. Oh, hi, my dear. Yeah. Checking in.
Actually, the body you just got in. Can you tell me who it was?
Ma'am, I'm not allowed to end up releasing any of that. There's been press trying to get in to get an ID, and everybody wants to end up going ahead of the investigation. I can't.
My name is Astrea Peck. If
Do you have ID on you?
yes, a moment. Astrea pulls out her ID from her wallet and shows it to the woman.
She looks at it for a moment and then shakes her head a bit. Honey, are you sure?
Yes, please. I need to see him.
Visiting hours are 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. I think it would be best if you... Ma'am, I can't bend the rules for you. I feel bad for you, I really do. But it's not something I would want anybody to see.
John kind of steps up closer to the counter, not like completely throwing Astrea aside, but ma'am, you have to understand, this is her family. If something happened to him, if something happened to...
Sir, are you family?
He's a family friend.
Unfortunately, family friends aren't permitted, even if it was. I'm sorry, but if you come in tomorrow...
I can't. I'm leaving. I have a concert to go to tomorrow. I can't.
Would you be able to roll manipulation subterfuge, please? Or how many dice is that for you?
Let me check.
How many? Manipulation subterfuge. How many dice?
That is 3.
3 total?
Yeah.
Okay, let's roll it. See what your luck is.
Oh God. Shouldn't have
Oh,
played
nice. Nice.
Okay.
Well, now, there's, you want to know what? I'm in charge of security here. Ma'am, Miss Peck, I understand your loss, and I feel really badly about it. I understand that. Sir, I do end up recognizing you, and I thank you very much for your service to this country. Now, I don't end up believing that leaving her wait and worry about it is going to end up doing her, the family, any good. I will ensure that everything remains intact. I will be with them every step of the way, nurse. So don't you end up fretting about that. I will end up taking full responsibility on that. You can end up notifying head office, and I'll end up signing for it. Is that all right, ma'am?
Oh, thank you.
Well, it's quite all right. Just doing my civic duty. He ends up stepping aside. Right this way. Yeah, sir. Like the nurse said, Miss Ratchet ended up making it very clear that it's family only. So I'm gonna have to end up asking you to wait out here in the lobby.
That's fine. I'll find something I'll find something to do.
I appreciate your patience, sir. Now, ma'am, Miss Peck, please come this way. And he starts to move along, trying to end up guiding you down hallways. While this is happening, the nurse seems dismayed and relieved that this fat tub of lard is hitting on her, but now is probably trying to make a pass at somebody in mourning, very disgusted with the behavior. She just looks at you and, sir, this is highly, highly irrational. There's a reason we end up having these hours set. I can't afford for security to be leaving the front.
I appreciate it.
Keep straight face.
I understand the rules and everything, but you know, she's not going to be here tomorrow, and if it's really him, she's got to know just to get that closure. But by the way, does that guy hang out here often? You seem a little iffy about his presence here.
That's Kronk. He's always end up making a pass at anything with tits, quite frankly. He's a good guy and all, but personality like a brick. No, a brick would be merciful. It'd probably knock you out. No, Kronk just likes to talk and talk and talk and talk, and it's enough to give me a headache.
Yeah, I remember a guy in Basic who was like that. I was like, that guy lasted 2 weeks.
What was his name?
I can't remember his last name was, I think it was Sagan. But the drill sergeant always came with some clever with it. I can't remember what it was though. Sagan. It was Sagans. He kept calling him Sagans.
Well, I can imagine that. When, as you talk with the nurse, Astrea, you're walking with Kronk, who indeed is chatting your ear off. Yeah, I ended up having to end up taking one look at it. I understand it's going to be really hard for you, but if you need anything, you end up letting me know, okay? I'll be right here every step of the way.
Oh, thank you. That's so kind.
It's quite all right, ma'am. It's I'm more than proud to end up doing my duty. Peck. Why does that name sound familiar? Yeah, we ended up seeing him out. There's a mess behind that pawn shop. It was just, it got really. Weird thing is personally, between you and me, I think it was a body dump. There wasn't any blood anywhere. I think that whatever ended up happening was pretty bad. Maybe somebody let the dog. Oh, I'm sorry, dear. Nobody. You don't need to hear about him getting eaten by dogs. Oh God, there's my mouth again. Oh, I am so sorry.
It's all right. Did you happen to hear anything about any sort of evidence at the crime scene? Did you?
Ma'am, I can't talk about the investigation. I understand that families want answers. You're deserving of answers, but in order not to contaminate the investigation, we need to end up knowing, right? So,
but I'm sure a little detail couldn't hurt. Just something.
I'm going to have you roll charisma and what would it be? Expression. So what would your total charisma and expression be?
6 dice.
Ooh, barely. Well, there is one thing. There's an old. She was wearing a kind of jacket, and I didn't look to be hers because she, or let me rephrase that. He was wearing a jacket and didn't look to be his. I mean, Ryan. Oh, there goes my mouth again. He opens the door to the mortuary. You can see the freezers lined up. You can see the tools set. Everything as sterile as possible. In fact, you swear you can smell bleach in this place. Now, the thing is one of the things on his person was a military jacket, and we ended up doing a record check, and he never ended up serving. He never applied, and didn't seem to be his forte. So he just seemed really out of place.
Huh. That is weird. Ryan was always a gentle soul. I never knew him to be in the military.
No, it didn't make much sense either. Anyway, here we are, sweetheart. He starts to pull one of the freezer doors open, and a white sheet is over the body. The Kronk reaches over with those fatty mitts of his and takes hold of the sheet and looks to you. You sure you want to see this, right?
I am.
I'm so sorry. He looks around and he pulls the sheet back, and yeah, it's Ryan. You see that just underneath his jawline, there's a huge tear, like the entire side of his neck is gone. You can see his vertebrae, and it tears right down over the top of his collarbone. You can actually see that exposed. It's even starting to show some of the meat in the ribs down. That it looks like bits were torn one after another. And oh God, the look, his eyes are still open. His mouth is in this position where it wants to scream, and you swear you could hear him scream. It looks wrong.
Yeah, that's Ryan. Ryan, what happened to you?
Now, I'm no coroner, but I imagine something like that would have left a lot of blood, and he was, I'm going to have to assume it was a body dump or something. I have to wait till the coroner's report. You'll get to it in the morning. Don't you worry, sweetheart. We'll end up finding out who did this.
Is it possible that I could have a moment?
Ma'am, I ended up making it very, very clear I can't leave your side for one moment. I wouldn't want to do that to you because, I got to end up making sure that you're all right, and leaving you alone with that, it's probably not doing you any good. In fact, let me cover that up. All right. Ryan's not going anywhere. We're going to put him in a nice, safe place. And once everything's done, make sure that he ends up getting treated respectfully.
I'm sorry.
Oh, sweetheart, don't feel sorry. Come here. puts that big arm around you, and you know you can feel it. This is one of those, you know, he's sweating at the pits. His arms are hairy as all hell, and he pulls you in like you feel like the fat is just gonna envelop you when he ends up pulling you in. It's gonna be all right, sweetheart. It's gonna be all right.
Please don't. I don't want to be touched right now. I just.
I'm so sorry, sweetheart. I'm feeling really bad that you ended up having to see that.
No, it's all right. I needed to see it. I needed to see that.
Is there anything else that I can do for you?
Can I confer with Zach out of character for a moment?
Of course.
What the hell are we gonna do?
I was expecting.
You can't ask him for ideas. You're on your own here.
Shit. Damn it.
When he wrapped his arm around you, I was expecting you to just kill him right there.
I was vaguely not happy about that.
That's what I was expecting. I was like, oh, that's the lead up. He's giving you an opportunity. You're going to take it. And you're like, no, don't touch me. And I'm like, okay, well, wonder what she'll pull out of the bag of tricks next.
Let's find out.
Okay. All right, what bag of
What's
tricks?
going through her mind right now? What's going through what's going through her head? What is Astrea thinking right now?
Oh God, Ryan, whoever did this to you, I will end them. I have to get his body out of here. I have to get rid of this monstrous lug next to me somehow. I need him. I need to get Ryan out of here. Oh, but how I'm going to make that neonate pay. Whatever it is.
Well, sweetheart, I think it's about time we start moving along here. It's gonna be a long night for both of us, but I'm hoping that I'll end up giving you the closure that you're gonna need. And if you need anything else, you give me a call. All right, I'm gonna give you my personal number.
All right.
And I'm gonna end up making. Yeah, I want to end up checking in on you. All right, it's kind of part of my civic responsibility to end up looking after these kinds of things. All right.
All right.
Can I get your number down just in case, just so I can do a follow-up?
Oh, all right. I'll give you my agent's number if you need to contact me.
Oh, you're an agent, huh? You're a bit of a superstar then, huh?
I guess it's not really the time to.
Oh, of course. I might end up grabbing the number. He ends up offering you a pen and a pad of paper that seems to have a whole bunch of indentations, notes that he's probably been taking, or something else.
Okay. Can I roll perception to sort of?
Perception alertness? What are you looking for?
Just sort of trying to glean what's been written, scribbled.
That's going to be very, very difficult, but I will give it to you on a 10. So what's your perception alertness?
Perception alertness. I don't have alertness, but I have a perception of 4.
Okay, so difficulty would increase by 1, so that would be 11, so it would be impossible, but I'm going to be nice and say keep the difficulty at a 10.
All right.
So unfortunately, no, there's not much you can detail from just the indentations. You'd have to actually flip through it.
All right. I scribble down my agent's number.
Okay. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Not a problem, ma'am. Let's get moving. It's
All
not
right.
gonna
Yeah, of
get
course.
any easier.
Of course.
Yeah. And he starts to walk you back, and John, you end up seeing her after a few moments coming back from the morgue with that big tub of lard behind him, Kronk.
Did you get the closure you needed? Was everything okay?
Well, let's talk away from the crowd for a moment.
All right, dear, you take care of yourself, and if you give us a call, all right?
All right. Thank
Sure
you.
you're all right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Of course, sir. Always a pleasure to end up helping in lieu of your service. And congratulations on that Purple Heart, by the way.
Thank you.
Of course.
So we step away, or just outside, I think.
I'd step outside. That way, it's like
Yeah.
if we can kind of keep it hushed,
Reconnoiter.
and it's not like not like that guy's gonna listen in.
Right. Well, let's
So.
go. So he showed me the way there. It was Ryan, and he looks like he's been mauled by some sort of feral beast.
Hold up. If that was your cousin, are you okay?
Honestly, no. But first thing we have to do is get Ryan out of there. The second thing we have to do is hunt down whoever did this.
Okay. One problem at a time.
Right.
What happened in there? Like, I thought you were gonna come up with something.
I found out the way there, but Tubby was rather insistent that he not leave my side. So I'll give you directions to the mortuary. Ryan is in this freezer. Specify whichever one it was. And
Okay. You know what? I'll just give you a pass on that one. Go ahead.
all right.
Yeah, she's specific on which freezer. It's the second one over middle shelf.
All right.
Okay.
I'll distract them in the main one, and you slip inside and grab him and get out the back way, whatever back way there is.
Did you see if there was any cameras in there? By chance?
And did I?
You weren't looking for him, so you never looked for him.
I didn't look for him.
I'll tell you what. Roll a. What's your intelligence? No.
3.
Hers. 3s? Okay. So I'll give it to you on a 7.
Okay.
Okay, so the 1 cancels the 8, but there is a 7 there. So yes, there was 1 camera on the outside hall.
Okay. So
There's also one on in the main lobby, but there was also one going down the hall in front of, or not directly in front, but it definitely overlooks the entrance to the mortuary.
Okay.
all right. Do you have
So
a plan for that?
I have a slight plan.
Remember, no supernatural funny business.
Hold on, let me check something real quick. Okay, that might work. All right.
What are you gonna do?
There and distract them. I'll go ask the front counter lady where the nearest quote unquote bathroom is. And if she points me anywhere down that hall, follow your instructions and then kind of just stealth on through.
All right. If you think you can do it, if you get caught, it's your neck on the line.
All right. So I walk back into the lobby first and I approach the counter.
Oh, sure, you're back. Oh,
Yeah.
leave him alone.
It's fine. I just need to know where the nearest bathroom is.
High or low? I'm going to ask you, high or low?
Low.
No, it's high. Okay. So she ends up pointing to the bathrooms, and they seem to be like set to the side. So the waiting room actually does have its own designated bathrooms.
Okay.
Maybe I can't give you advice, can I?
No.
No, I was expecting you to follow right behind me. I thought you were like following me in. We could have made this work.
I have followed you.
No, she's talking about out of character discussing. Like, no, you gotta work on it independently.
Yeah.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, my plan was even if the bathroom is close, like in the lobby room, right?
Yeah.
Interaction, I could slip in, slip out.
Well,
But
that
it
you
made it
guys
believable.
discussed that plan before, so
That's what I'm saying. I thought,
I am there. I'm just sort of waiting
okay,
for your cue.
I would
You
start
can
distracting
go
the
into the bathroom.
the moment I step into the bathroom, start your distraction. So I'm gonna walk in there and just to doing something, I start washing my hands.
All right. I guess
so
distraction time. I
what
walk.
is Astrea doing as a distraction?
God. So I walk back in and I sit on one of the waiting room benches with my head in my hands, sort of gently. Yeah, just my head in my hands. And I am going to try to use one of my disciplines.
Okay. So I'm assuming you are using all the first up in. Okay. All right. So
It's going to be interesting.
no worries. So what exactly are you trying to do? Like, what's the plan here for the use of this discipline? What's your hopes?
It is to draw the attention of people in the room with the gravity of my sorrow and make them want to try and comfort me, I suppose, is the plan.
Most definitely. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little bit of a tip. You can spend a willpower to guarantee it just one success. It'll guarantee somebody's going to come over.
Right.
But everything else is a natural roll. So I'm going to need your charisma plus performance. How many dice is that?
That's 7.
7. You going to spend a willpower on this?
I suppose so.
All right.
Why not?
So there's 2 successes. So 2 people in the room. You know what? Yeah. So immediately when that happens, you definitely have 2 people trying to end up comforting you. A big hand that is very familiar ends up putting down on your shoulder. It's all right there, sweetheart. I know it's a hard thing to end up seeing. There's another individual, looks like another nurse is trying to end up sitting with you, trying to comfort you. It's going to be okay, darling. The nurse at the front desk is just kind of rolling her eyes watching this as oh my God, he's at it again situation.
All right.
All right, so I exit from the bathroom while this is all going down.
All right.
Am I able to sneak by the counter?
Oh, I don't know.
And just
Are
kind
you?
of slip down the hall?
Are you?
What's your dexterity
I want to
self?
try it.
Dexterity
Okay.
stealth. And I'm going to make it difficulty. I would say it would be 8 normally, but we're going to drop it down to 7 because she's doing a distraction. So
Okay,
how
dexterity
many dexterity?
is 3.
And stealth?
3.
Your stealth is 3 as well. So total of 6 dice. All right.
Total of 6.
Oh.
Uh,
So it's not a botch, which is a good thing. But as soon as you end up going in there, you end up noticing that the front desk nurse, Miss Ratchet, suddenly sees you and starts saying, "Hey, sir, you can't end up going in there." And then immediately, Kronk ends up standing up. Hey, soldier boy, what are you trying to do there?
um, um,
Oh.
God, save me. I grab on to Mr. Security Fatso's hand and tug him back gently. Like, wait, where are you going?
Ma'am, please, I understand you're distressed. He's clearly distracted by her when he's doing this deal. Ma'am, I can't end doing it. The nurse is yelling at you. The other patrons are starting to end up getting a little bit pissed off that their services are being disrupted. Kronk is trying to end up like wrenching himself away, but he just can't. He can't deny her. That's like, ma'am, soldier, sir, please, you just take a seat. I understand you want to end up seeing. Please don't end up making me end up calling in for backup. All right.
Whoa.
I'm giving you a chance due to the service you ended up providing for this country. That's as far as my generosity is going to go this night, sir.
No, it's all good.
This is all
I'm just
correct.
I'm just a little bad with directions ever since Afghanistan. All right, just I'll play along. There's no need to get loud in here.
You know,
Come on, let's try to let's get out of here. You know, you've had enough. Let's get out of here.
ma'am, are you sure you want to end up? Like I can end up driving you home after shift if it's all right. You don't need to end up going.
It's just I can't.
Can't what? Sweetheart.
I need a moment. Can I just stay here for a little while?
Of course you can, sweetheart. He takes your hand in his fat palm and clasps the other side like
shut up.
On top. Of course you can, sweetheart. It's gonna be all right. I know it's a hard time. I'm gonna be just right over there,
Okay.
escorting this fine gentleman out who's clearly just confused right now. And he starts to end up walking towards our good old soldier boy. Now, John Fredrickson, what are you doing right now as this large, not so imposing security guard Kronk is coming up to you?
I'm crying myself to sleep.
Don't you do that. You be a man, soldier boy. I am holding up my end of the deal.
We don't have phones, do we?
I don't know, do you?
No, even if we had phones, we don't have each other's things.
Nope.
So, I look over to Estrada.
Yes.
And I say, you stay here, take all the time you need. I'm gonna go talk to Uncle Cole. I'll go get Uncle Cole.
Tell him Astrea sent you.
Okay. So right. I take the leave and I go and sit in the car.
I'm going to kill you.
All right.
That went
So-
well.
Well, that ain't over yet. So, Mr. Fredrickson, you are currently in the car. You say you're dating Uncle Cole. Did I hear that right?
Yes. Oh.
Okay.
This is gonna be so bad.
So,
You-
are you actually calling him or are you driving to see him?
Does he?
I was
does he
gonna
have his number?
I was
I
gonna
don't-
drive to see him.
Yeah, because you don't have his number.
I don't
It's
have his number.
not something most neonates have.
Yeah.
All right. Not far off in what could loosely be called a condominium in this small town of Rejection is an interesting individual. You've only met him once, but of course he was all smiles and always had that weird walk away around him, like maybe his leg was broke and just didn't heal right. But when you end up taking the elevator up, it opens. And before you can even start walking towards the penthouse, you end up seeing a individual familiar. It's an old black man. I say old, probably in his 40s. And well dressed, very nice ties, in his suit. He smiles at you, and you can end up seeing a few gold fillings in his teeth. Howdy, stranger. Now, what ends up bringing Digger's boy out of my neck of the woods?
Digger sent us on an assignment. He gave
You decide to come in my place without permission. Did your sire not end up telling you about the rules when it ends up coming down to domain? This is my own little neck of the woods. It is our agreement, and you came uninvited, son.
Digger told me you the information was not the information. What was I about to say?
Ahem.
No hinting.
I was gonna. Shit.
Son, what happened? Got your tongue, or was it a case of Digger does all the talking for you?
Strata sent me.
Astrea, use my name right.
Astrea.
Astrea.
It's such a weird one.
No worries. Astrea ended up sending you. Well, now that just changed everything. So what did my little darling end up here doing at this point that ends up having her send you out here? I'm impressed with the fact that she ended up doing so.
I'm running Messenger right now because she's stuck in a hospital because we couldn't get to her dead cousin.
Oh, fuck all kinds of duck. All right. So what do you need from me?
Anything that can help us get rid of that body, get us into. Yeah.
Well, that's a bit of my time, and as you can see, it's somewhat precious. I had to end up coming to meet you out here rather than you invite you into my haven. So, do tell me, what's your appreciation worth? Diggers, I know. Sebastian's, I know. Yours, I don't. You're a little new to the block. I've not seen what your boons are worth. What is your gratitude worth?
A favor?
Yeah, quite a large one, I'd imagine.
Given the caliber of the situation, I'd say that's right.
Very well then, son. If that is the case, will end up assisting you. However, there is something I'm going to want in return. And it's quite simple. I need you to end up not only finding who this is, but I want them alive and delivered to me, not Digger. Think you can do that?
Ooh.
Well, all your moaning ain't
so.
going to make a decision. You think so? I want your guarantee, your word, sir, because a man's word is his bond. He
I
smiles
guarantee
at
it.
you like, very well, sir. You shake on it. He extends his hand.
I take his hand. I shake.
Very well, sir. Well struck. Well bargained. Well done. Now, would you be so kind as to give me a lift, and we'll go pick up Astrea in due time?
I'm out of character. Can you say that again?
He's telling you to drive him to Astrea, and he's going to help you.
I zoned out for a complete second. So yeah, okay.
No worries.
I hop back in the car. Let's go.
Astrea, it's long. It takes longer because you have this old, well, not this old, but this really meaty mitt almost glued to you. Such is the power of your abilities. And he tries to keep an eye on the room, but clearly his attention is all on you, trying to end up helping. When you end up seeing lights come through the window, the headlights turn off, and after a long moment, what feels like forever, you end up seeing Fredrickson and Cole enter through. Cole, of course, when he ends up seeing you, is, "Oh, my dearest, I'm so sorry it's taken me this long to end up approaching. Please do end up helping the fellow sinner out here and give me a hug. I can't believe he's gone. I can't believe it."
Oh, Uncle Bear. And Astrea gets up very gleefully from the meaty hand on her and hugs Cole.
Yeah. Now, might I end up having permission to end up seeing the body, please? Who would I end up speaking to? Sir, we already made an exception this night, but I kind of have your distinct bit of, well, I'm having a hard time tracing the bloodline here, if you follow my meaning. So are you trying to imply that we are not related? Because I most assuredly state myself and my dear here are most certainly related. And as when he says that, you end up noticing that Kronk's eyes go just a little bit softer. His breathing goes a little shallow. Of course, sir. Yeah, I can see the family resemblance. It's in the cheeks. And he starts walking away, and as he starts leading, of course, my compatriot here will be following. Yes, he'll be following, and almost he looks to end up seeing if there's any protests, and of course, the nurse is definitely protesting. Now, as you end up walking through the room, you end up getting back to the mortuary. Well, there he is. Sir, ma'am, you might want to stay outside. You already saw this once. You don't need to end up seeing this again. She needs to see this again. Of course, sir. I stand corrected. You don't know what it is, but there's something about the tone of his voice that shifts. It's almost like everything is said with almost like a commanding quality. You would know this most definitely. John, you would know this. This is almost like you're reminded of a drill sergeant, but it's just slipped in the middle of a sentence every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sir, is there anything else? And he whispers into Kronk's ear and turns and starts to walk. Kronk leaves the room. Well, my dear, how much further did you end up thinking this one through?
Well, that is the question.
Soldier.
One second.
No worries. Mr. Fredrickson, how about yourself? You have any particular plans? Are we just going to sneak out the back door like a bunch of thieves?
Backdoor was kind of what we had going originally.
But then you got to explain why a body disappeared. Then there's searches. It's kind of untidy, isn't it?
Originally, I was supposed to come up with something, but the security guard, Strata here.
Again with my name wrong.
What is it? What is it? How do you say it?
Astrea, like Astra. Aya.
Astrea.
Yes.
You end up mispronouncing it again, sir, and I'll have you barking like a dog for the rest of the evening. I can most assuredly guarantee that. I do not care whose child you are. Now, that being said, he looks around the room. And he kind of gestures to what seems to be an oxygen tank. My dear, does that give you any ideas?
A few.
Okay, good. I think my work here is done. Oh, and do try and end up making sure you're gone from the vicinity. It's going to be a shame that all that tape was going to be gone when Mr. What was his name? That fat tub of lard.
Couldn't tell you.
Well, he don't. I guess it don't matter. He's about to die in the line of duty. Still, gas explosion. Hospital end up spraying it all down. But by that point, most of the evidence should be contaminated, inadmissible in court, and well, I guess your cousin ended up getting his cremation after all. So, what are you waiting for? Make it happen.
Sir, yes, sir.
He starts to step outside, and you can see his silhouette just outside the door, like as if he's waiting on something. What do you do?
Come on, Johnny boy.
I guess we just
got work to do.
All right. Take one of the. Do we just want to take the gas cans, open them up, and then like drop the match and run, or?
I think there's science involved.
It's like.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Because your characters obviously have a different mindset than yourselves. I think he's already given you a huge suggestion, but I'll roll you a wits. Roll me a wits science.
Wits science? What if you don't have science?
Increases the difficulty by 1.
Okay, what is the
He gave you a pretty good hint, so I'm going to say base difficulty 6. If you don't have science, it goes up to 7.
Okay. Yeah. How do you do this? Oh, there it is.
What?
There's a
What's
decline.
what's the total dots for you?
I have 3 in wits.
All right.
And
So we're looking and no science, you said?
yeah.
So you get the idea. And what about Fredrickson?
I've got 2 wits, 1 science.
All right, let's see if you both get the idea. Yeah, you both think he's implying that this is going to be an explosion set off by Kronk when he returns. Probably involving the gas or the oxygen tanks.
So we let the oxygen out of the tank slowly. And
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was gonna say. Is like it's like we have to set up with some sort of thing so that way we have time to get out of there.
well, yeah, but it's not going to combust without an ignition, which
You guys are willing to let him and the security guard and potentially other people in the hospital get injured or killed to cover this up.
No,
wait.
no, I have morals.
I have morals too. Damn it.
No, it's an option. You can do it. Just be
There's
wary.
gotta be another way. Like, how can we?
I,
Can we at least leave it? Can we?
You guys have
In
3 minutes
what?
starting now
What?
to come up with a decision before something happens.
We can set off the explosion ourselves, which, with matches and such, and sort of deal with it that way instead of sacrificing people.
Yeah, but it is playing with fire.
That is true.
Fox.
What?
You take the air can, you put it inside the freezer with him, open it up, light it, close the freezer, and run.
How much courage do you have?
Can't ask that. It's his decision.
Do you want to
Let's
do
just-
that?
Well, I also have to do that.
Well, then I think we know who it is that's doing it.
Well,
Okay.
so what do you two do?
All right. I mean, that's the plan, right?
Astrea, what are you planning on doing?
Helping him set it up and then getting out
All
of
right,
dodge.
I'll tell you what. What's both of your wits plus craft?
Oh, fuck.
5.
Wits plus craft. Wits plus craft for me is a 3.
1. So there is 1 and 3. 2. Yeah, you both. So you describe what's happened. Describe how you set this up.
I take one of the oxygen tanks, put it on the freezer slab with the body, crack it open the slightest, and start to close it. Right, but leave it like not all the way close. Just like there's a good inch of space before the seal locks down. Then I lay a trail of matches end to end.
I'm not sure that's how it works, but okay.
Light one end of the matches and leave.
All right.
Wait, let me do my setup before that.
That's my plan.
My plan is to make it look less like we're trying to incinerate evidence by setting up another one connected to your trail of matches out in the open area.
All right.
All right. Cole's not
So-
going to like this.
as you two light the matches and start to step into the hallway, you see Cole smiles at you. Well, suppose that's that. Only one last thing to end up doing. He
Wait.
starts to. What is it, my dear?
That won't be necessary. We should just exit the facility as swiftly as I've had enough of seeing Ryan like this. So,
Well, I'm sure that's all fine. Ah, there's the fat tub of lard himself. Hi there, sir. I got. There you go. Oh yes, that copy of my dear. What's a popular TV show these days?
The Walking Dead is.
Ah, that episode of The Walking Dead you promised. Yes, that's. I give you the Walking Dead. He starts looking at him, and it gets really hazy. Now, remember, officer, to end up please standing right here and make sure nobody touches that body. I want to end up making sure it's pristine for the funeral. Ladies and gentlemen, shall we end up being off? It has been a tremendous night. He looks to you like, keep your mouth shut, neonate.
I
Are
look
you
to
just
Johnny
going to let
Boy.
him die?
I can't.
No,
What do? Panicked.
He starts walking. What do you do?
Gonna kill myself for this.
Yeah, well, you got 2 minutes.
Croc, wait, would you please walk me outside?
All right, Nim. Of course, I would hate to end up doing it. Well, officer, I think that I would hate to end up seeing that the body was further on display. Poor dear Eric Ryan. Right, Ryan has suffered quite enough that is less to be set on display, and he doesn't stop walking. He knows what's up. Well, ma'am,
tagging out.
I'll keep coming with you up until the door.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. And what is John doing?
So we're all walking to the door right now, aren't we? That's what he's.
Yes.
You got the officer to walk.
Yes. Oh, she got the officer to walk to the door. So
now they're sitting at the door with what? How much time left? Like maybe a minute 30.
Do you know the burning speed of matches?
Fast.
Yeah. So out of curiosity, you guys are just making it into the waiting room. I need.
Shit.
Yeah. You know what?
No,
Astrea, could you
know what?
tell me high or low? High or low?
What do you want to do, bud?
That's your decision. High or low?
My
Let's go
decision. Yeah, let's go high.
Oh, it's low.
Damn it! What?
Okay, so as you are walking in, all of a sudden you hear boom. You feel the entire place start to shake. You see people starting to panic. What is this? Some kind of attack? What's going on? Everybody starts to panic. The sick are like keeled over, trying not to end up letting their wounds and their illness take them as they panic, trying to get out of the hospital. You know, where do you run when the hospital is being attacked. What was that? That bang? It sounded like an explosion. People are running left, right, and center. The Kronk starts looking around, sweating a bit, and starts looking about. Oh God, I'm going to lose my job for this one. Ratchet's trying to take care of people. There's pandemonium everywhere, and Cole is just walking out the front door like nothing happened. Now I'm going to need, what is John's conscience and what is Astrea's conscience?
Shit.
4.
4.
4? Okay, this is going to be a difficulty. It's probably 8 because it's a heavy amount of damage, potentially getting somebody killed. Okay, so John, you're in the clear.
Oh no.
Oh, you are just in the clear, both of you.
Ugh.
All right, so when this happens, right,
Yeah.
you know that you did wrong. You feel it, like you might have killed somebody, maybe a janitor. Who was everybody accounted for? You just mangled your own cousin's corpse. You blew it up. You threw it away like it was nothing. What the fuck is wrong with you two?
Damn it.
What the Jesus, what are you turning into? And Cole just starts to walk out like there's not a care in the world. He turns and says, well, I think that's my work here for the evening. I would much appreciate it if you don't end up involving me in this any further than you have to. I would really hate to end up having to show them what's on this tape. I mean, I'm sure your sires would be very interested to end up seeing the security footage of your attempt, but it's probably best not to end up dwelling on those. Keep that in mind, Officer Fredrickson. Next time you end up coming to me for a favor. And speaking of which, you are still good to our agreement, sir?
Yeah.
I will leave
Yeah.
you two to that. He looks up as you see the fire starting to rise at the back. You can hear sirens starting to come off in the distance. Patients are pouring out. There are people trying to evacuate the hospital as quickly as possible. Some of them are on gurneys. Some of them are
What have we
like
done?
they're trying to keep people stitched together. It looks like somebody who was on the operating slab is actually being pulled out in mid-operation. They're just trying to keep him alive.
Jesus, what did we do? God,
What do you do?
we have to do something. We can't just leave.
And that is
Johnny.
I'm thinking. This is out of character. I'm sorry. I'm thinking. I
what's
honestly-
going on in John's head right now?
He
Surely this is probably reminding him of his time across this pond. This is getting akin to a war zone. I mean, you're back in it. I mean, it's come home. You brought it here.
Yeah, I thought it was like quiet time to escape this and like my foot in the water. I dove head first into the deep end of the pool. This kind of shit and looking at it again. Gut instincts would like fight or flight, but if you have to go in and find Buddy.
And there's also a reminder right now. Because there is blood, there is a patient split open. Like currently, they're trying to do everything they can just to suture him up, emergency seal at this point. This is hamburger surgery, trying to end up just saving lives while trying to get them out of a burning building. And there is something inside that just looks at that individual, and for the briefest of seconds, you can't see a human being anymore. You see food. And you wonder, was this what it was like for that neonate? That neonate who ended up tearing out poor Ryan's throat. That sudden want, that sudden need.
This is messed up, yo.
We have to go now.
We have to go, but we have to help.
I look her deep in the eyes. The hell I've seen reflecting in my wide-eyed visage. We cannot stay here.
All right.
Let's find the car.
Okay.
And with that, the two neonates enter the car, driving away from this horror that they've brought upon, all in the name of keeping the world's largest secret. And it's there we'll end this scene.